For centuries, one thing has plagued people of every culture. One thing has destroyed personal lives as well as family lives. What is this one thing that could be so horrible? Well, that one thing is addiction.
There are different factors that can push people toward addictive behavior. One of them is stress caused by a lack of sleep. The problem in our culture today is people are depending on substance and adrenaline for stress relief instead of sleep. The body accumulates stress as we go through our day. Environmental, food, chemicals, pollution, noise, financial. All of these are emotional stresses. And the way the body releases stress in the natural environment is through rest. When you sleep and go through the sleep patterns or cycles, your body is actually processing stress. In our environment, most people don't get enough sleep. Before all our modern inventions, the average person slept 10 hours a night. Nowadays, it's 6.5 to 7 hours on average. And we have a tremendous amount of stress compared to those in the past. If our body isn't getting enough rest, there will be an overaccumulation of stress. What does the body do? What it's designed to do. It's going to crave a release of some kind. The way our body offsets overaccumulated stress is by experiencing adrenaline. Adrenaline offsets that feeling of being stressed. Look at how people live. As a culture, we've become completely out of balance. People wake up, and first thing, they hit the caffeine. Adrenaline! We start our day with food that is highly refined, that spikes the blood sugar very quickly. Or, we watch news and see fight or flight conflict. What does it do? Spikes the adrenaline. Then we drive to work in a vehicle, flying around the highway, surrounded by other vehicles. You don't know what those other drivers will do. It's just really exciting to the nervous system and increases the adrenaline as well as the stress levels. Again, we eat foods during the day that will have high fructose corn syrup or caffeine and keep pounding the system. Then there's pressure at work, we come home to pressure at home. Then what do? We watch TV for a few hours. But look at the TV shows out there. The hospital TV shows with death scenarios, shows with sex scenes, court scenes, sports, which create adrenaline and excitement. So people sit their whole lives just spiking this adrenaline over and over again. Then, they crash for a few hours and get a half-decent sleep. One might ask why the constant stress is so bad. Let's step back for a moment and talk about the brain. In the brain there's a part called the limbic system. It's the I want my needs met now part of the brain. Reminds me of a crying baby. It's the part of the brain in the animal kingdom that has the lion chase something down and eat it because it wants food now. Another part is the frontal cortex. This part makes us different from animals. This is the reasoning, rational part of the brain, and it's how we think through things and consequences. As you probably noticed in your own life, when you don't get enough sleep, it's harder to think and make rational decisions. The limbic system wants immediate gratification. When someone goes into an addictive cycle, the limbic system sends chemicals into the frontal cortex to numb it and shut out rational and reasonable thinking. So with more and more stress and less sleep, the rational part of the brain has a harder time staying in control. For example, adrenaline is a natural chemical the body produces for stress. The more the body becomes dependent on one chemical for stress relief, the easier it is to become dependent on others that can harm the body. That's why sleep is important in the stress relief process. Without sleep, the limbic system would take over and go after all kinds of cravings. Look at drug addicts. They have no control. The way for a person to begin to overcome addiction is by eliminating forms of stress in life, by replacing it with methods of stress relief, such as yoga, or even spending time with friends and family. They keep the body from having to go into adrenaline mode. But one of the best ways for the body to overcome stress is through a good night's sleep. Try it out for a while. Sleep won't answer all the problems, but it can ease the stress in the process of avoiding addiction. A good night's sleep also helps the mind to be clearer. So next time you're stressed and want to shoot up, try getting some more sleep. It'll definitely make a difference.